Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Getting the market update done a bit earlier tonight for May 19th, 2021, 9:58 Hawaiian Standard Time. We're looking at the S&P 500. And what's standing out to me relatively quickly is, are we forming a W here? Easier to see on the line chart. Is this going to be a W? Possibly. We're waiting to see. If so, definitely our first part of the W is going to be significantly lower than the second part. We'll see what's going to happen tomorrow, but we see here that today the way that the S&P 500 closed was when it was around the 50-day moving average. We had a lot of buying power coming here, so maybe we're getting a bit of a base being built in here. Let's look to the left. Nothing significant really in there. Let's take a look at the S&P E-mini futures to see what's going on right now. We see lots of selling volume. Then buyers came in bringing it here. A little bit of a doji-ish action going on. So maybe there's going to be a reverse in momentum, start moving up. Barely any buying volume going on. Or maybe it's going to be a little bit of stabilization before selling continues. We will see how that plays out. Take a look at gold. Gold, we see right now it's maintaining above that 200-day moving average. Look to the left. Right around this area. Looks like a maybe. Let's do this. Yeah, it's kind of right in this area. Well, possibly if we kind of move sideways, but it stays above here, we very well could be building quite a good base to move to the upside. And let's take a peek see at silver. Right, silver had a big sell-off. So it has big green candle. A lot of sort of like a doji thing going on here. A lot of selling came in here. It stayed in the top 25% of this candle. Today opened here, traded as low as here, but the buyers brought it up, and we're right here. So we're at the kind of in this. What is that? Is that 50%? Is that 65%? Somewhere in there. If we're going to maintain about in the top 50% of this candle, there's a chance that it could be building a base to be moving up. We will see. And before we move to oil, let us go back and look at the weekly candle, since we are halfway through the week right now, Wednesday. So the weekly candle, how's the weekly chart looking for the S&P 500? What do I see? What do you see? Well, look at that. That's interesting. I'm not seeing anything that's jumping out to me in particular, other than maybe there's possibly some more room for selling to go on. However, yesterday obviously a lot of selling volume. Today a little bit light. Go back to these light days over here. A little bit light. And when we move to the line chart, is there anything pointing out? No, nothing super specific. If it was me trading this, I can think of a few trades that I would do, but I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not gonna say those out loud. Well, we definitely seem to have some resistance right here, and yeah, let's look, wait and see what happens about the weekly on gold. The weekly on gold is looking pretty good, just like the daily was in regards to moving up, that is. So look to the left. Yeah, a little bit of this hitting this place of resistance. Looks like it might be building up a base. Silver, what is silver looking like on the weekly chart? Woo, look at that. That's a long wick going up. And we're a bit of this building a bit of a base. Now, let's look at my favorite thing to trade, oil. Oil sold off. And we got a tiny little doji right here. A lot of selling coming in. Wow, look at that selling volume. Buyers are starting to step in. Let's look to the left. Oh, this is the only asset that I'm monitoring all the time. So I've been watching this all day through a variety of means. So right now it is staying above this $63 mark, and that's kind of my guess, is that we'll build out a base right in there to go higher. And let's take a peek at the weekly. Weekly is, well, definitely engulfed that doji. This candlestick engulfed this. Engulfing meaning see the body of this, see the body of this, way bigger. This body engulfs that one. But it sort of looks like a doji. Like this is a doji. Sort of looks like a doji, this indecision, but maybe it's not 100% indecision. So my guess on oil right now is I think that if it stays above $63, $62 in that range, if it stays above, then it's just going to be working back up. And I was making little guesses like that way back here in March and April, and watching it kind of build a little base, go a little higher, build a little base, go a little higher, go down, go up, go down, but overall kind of moving up. And maybe we're going to stay in the sideways range, range bound around under the $66 mark. However, compared to here to here, that's up. So I have a trade on this particular asset right now, and it is looking fairly well. I hope and I believe it will continue to look well. And if you're shorting, let's look at something that would look really well. But if you're long, let's look at something that has been the talk of the news, not looking too well. Well, actually, this is looking good. This is looking good right here. And the reason why this is looking good is so it sold off all the way down to 30,000, which you probably heard about that. But look at these buyers came in and brought Bitcoin up all the way to here. Now, this could indicate a change in momentum, a change to the upside. So let's see how much, how far into this candle these green candles can go. So the things that you want to be looking for is, see, right, we see how long this candle is, and see how the top of this candle lines up with the top of this one. And I'm going to turn on this so we can look to the left. Look to the left. Look to the left. All right. Isn't that interesting? Try to keep it on point. Look to the left, right? We got some stuff going on here, some stuff going on here. So there's a bit of like where prices can get stuck here on either side, either coming down through it or coming up above it. So what if you're trading Bitcoin and you're thinking about maybe you want to get back in or whatever, You want to get back in, you're concerned about taking profits before it sells off more. So if I was trading Bitcoin, what I would be looking at is how quickly is the price action gonna move up past this amount. Now, if it goes for, let's say, right now it's down here. We're not even in 25% of this candle. And obviously to get to the top, we have to get 25%. We have to get 50%. If it stays below this 50% mark of this long candle, that's not looking good as far as going up. It's looking good then for going down. Right now, this is really a good sign for going up, because as I mentioned, sellers drove it all the way down here, but buyers came in. But what might happen? Now it looks a little bit doji-ish right here. What might happen? Is this basing to move up more, or is this being digesting all the selling off, and is more selling going to come in? We won't know until it happens. So as I mentioned, what we want to look for is how quickly is the price action going to take out this number. If it can't move 50%, if it stays below 50%, then there's no way it's going to go to take this out, right? In that case, if it's staying below 50%, more than likely, and 50% of this particular candle here, then more than likely it's either going to take a lot longer to break this point, or it's going to be heading to the downside. Do what you will with that, and most importantly, I think what you should do is try to integrate these concepts on your own. If you need a little help of integrating these concepts on your own, if you're trading one of these assets, if you're watching things, you're not trading any assets, you want to start trading or investing, then reach out to me. I will personally help you. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to see what your life is like, and then I already know what my life is like. I'm going to find out what your life is like, and we're going to look to see how we can mesh up and how I can help you get up to speed with where I'm at, so you can be making these decisions for yourself. That's the most important thing. Having the ability to make decisions for yourself. Why would you want to rely on the suspect opinion of other people? Right? Why would you want to rely on someone else when you can just do it yourself? Who cares about your money more than you? Do you think anyone cares about your money more than you? Maybe you do think that. And then I personally think you're wrong. And we have the right to our opinions, so you're right and I'm right at the same time. Regardless, I'm here for the people that want to be able to make their own decisions for themselves. So you guys have a fantastic night. And starting tomorrow or the next day, we're going to add another thing into the market update. We are going to start looking at the dollar and possibly interest rates, typically on the 10-year yield. And maybe we'll just start with them both. Reach out to me. You guys have a fantastic night. I'm going to go to sleep early tonight. Bye-bye.